All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into The Complete Guide to Fasting by Dr. Jason Fung and Jimmy Moore. Now, this is a book that basically turns decades of diet advice on its head. We're going to explore why so many of our diets seem doomed to fail and how a really ancient practice might just hold the key.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever done everything right? You followed the diet to the letter. You counted every single calorie. You exercised like crazy. And either the scale just wouldn't budge, or worse, all the weight you lost came roaring right back. Look, if that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. And the big idea in this book? It's not your fault.
I mean, just look at the TV show The Biggest Loser. You saw these contestants lose incredible amounts of weight with the most extreme diets and exercise imaginable. But here's the kicker. 6 years later, almost every single one of them had regained it. What happened? Well, their bodies fought back. Hard. Their metabolisms didn't just slow down, they crashed. See, this isn't about a failure of willpower, it's about the method. The method itself is broken.
So, what is really going on here? In this first part, we're going to tear down that old advice we've all heard a million times. Just eat less and move more. We're going to show you exactly why that advice is just fundamentally flawed. And here's the crazy part. People actually did it. For decades, we all followed the official rules, right? We cut way back on fats, we ate more grains, more veggies. But what happened? During that exact same time, obesity rates didn't just rise, they absolutely exploded. And get this isn't some newfangled idea. A huge study way back in 1959 found that cutting calories had a, wait for it, 98% failure rate. 98%. Even today, the odds of an obese person getting to a normal weight just by dieting are less than 1%. You know, when something fails that often, you have to stop blaming the people and start looking at the method itself.
Okay, so this brings us to the absolute core idea of the book, the big aha moment. The problem isn't your willpower. It's not about counting calories. The real villain here, it's a hormone, and its name is insulin.
For so long, we've been sold this idea of our body being like a simple sink, right? Calories in, calories out. But that model is it's wrong. Our bodies are not calculators. They're incredibly complex biological systems, and they're run by hormones, not math.
A much better way to think about it is this. Your body has two places to store energy. Think of it like a refrigerator and a deep freezer. The fridge, that's for glycogen. It's the energy you get from carbs. Super easy to get to, but there's not much room in there. Then you've got the freezer. That's for body fat. It's way harder to access, but man, it has pretty much unlimited storage space for the long haul.
And here, this is the absolute key to everything. Every single time we eat, especially carbs and protein, our insulin levels go up. Now, insulin's job is to shuttle that energy into storage. So first, it tops off that easy access refrigerator. But here's the kicker. When insulin is high, it also locks the door to your fat freezer. It literally stops your body from being able to burn that stored fat for energy.
So, let's just state it plainly. This is the central argument of the book. Obesity is not a calorie problem. It is a hormonal problem. When we're eating all the time, our insulin is always high, and that keeps the door to our fat freezer permanently locked. It forces our body to just keep storing and storing energy without ever getting a chance to actually use it. Okay, so if chronically high insulin is the problem, then the solution is actually beautifully simple, isn't it? We just need to find a way to lower our insulin. And that is exactly where the book brings in fasting. Not as some new fad diet, but as this powerful, ancient, and totally logical tool. And believe me, this is not a new idea. Not even close. Fasting has been a central part of spiritual and health practices for thousands of years. I mean, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, he prescribed it. The Greek historian Plutarch wrote these words almost 2,000 years ago. This stuff is ancient wisdom. And how it works is it's brilliantly simple. Fasting just flips the whole process on its head. When you stop eating, your insulin levels finally have a chance to fall. And that drop in insulin, that's the key that finally unlocks the door to the fat freezer. It's the signal that tells your body, hey, it's time to start burning our own stored fat for fuel. Okay, I know what you're thinking. But what about starvation mode? Won't I lose all my muscle? Right? These are the big fears. So let's dive into the science and bust the biggest myths about fasting, one by one. Okay, myth number one. This is the big one, the one everyone worries about. The idea that if you skip a meal, your body will freak out, go into starvation mode, and your metabolism will just tank, making it even harder to lose weight.
Well, the science actually shows the complete opposite is true. Short-term fasting doesn't crash your metabolism, it actually speeds it up. Studies show your body starts pumping out hormones like adrenaline, which gives you more energy and more focus. It makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint, right? If you're hungry, your body doesn't want you to be tired. It wants you to be alert so you can go find food.
All right, myth number 2. Won't my body just start eating all my muscle for fuel? It's a totally logical fear, but it's also one our bodies are incredibly well designed to prevent. So how does it do that? How does it protect that precious muscle? Get this. With a massive surge in something called human growth hormone. Fasting is one of the most powerful ways to stimulate HGH. We're talking increases of over 1,000%. And one of HGH's main jobs is to preserve your muscle and tell your body, hey, burn the fat, not the protein. Okay, so myth number 3. Isn't this just playing with words? Isn't fasting just a fancier, more painful way of saying calorie restriction?
Nope, not at all. And the hormonal difference is everything. They've done studies on this. They took 2 groups, had them lose the exact same amount of weight. One group by fasting, the other by just cutting calories every day. The result? The fasting group had a massive improvement in their insulin sensitivity. The calorie cutters? Almost none. See, it's not just about the weight you lose. It's about the unique hormonal healing that fasting provides.
All right, so if we know fasting is safe and we know it's incredibly effective, how do you actually do it? How do you get started? Let's break down a few super simple, practical tips to make it easy to take back control.
It really comes down to 3 things. Number 1, stay hydrated. Drink lots of water, black coffee, or tea. Green tea is great for helping manage those hunger pangs. 2, stay busy. Seriously, the easiest day to fast is a busy day where your mind is on other things. And 3, and this is a big one, understand that hunger comes in waves. It's not a monster that just gets bigger and bigger. You'll feel it, but if you just have a cup of tea and wait it out, it will pass.
And look, this does not have to turn your life upside down. A really common way to do it is to fast for 24 hours, maybe a couple of times a week. And if you look at the schedule, you'll notice you're still eating a meal every single day. So you never have to miss that family dinner or a night out with friends. You're really just skipping breakfast and lunch on your fast days. It's that simple. So all of this leaves us with one really powerful, crucial question. For decades, we've been obsessed with what we eat, counting the carbs, the fats, the proteins. But this book argues that we've been missing half of the entire equation. That by simply giving our bodies a regular, scheduled break from eating, we can tap into this incredibly powerful natural pathway to health. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. Could it be that when you eat is even more important than what you eat?